results. So,
hey guys, welcome to our webinar. Hope you're all doing great. My name is Sergey Shelkov and I'm the head of the ad serving department here at Epom. So we have a lot of newcomers, so I just wanted to get two things out of the way. The first one is that everybody that registered, everybody who has a link to this essentially, would get afterwards a video with essentially this webinar so that you can look again if you miss something. And one more thing is that us still being the best and the most affordable solution as far as the DSP go on the market, we would still give you a 50% discount to everybody who is attending this webinar, a 50% discount for the nearest 6 months of using this white label DSP. Now, with that out of the way, let me do some brief intro about me, about the company. So, I've been with this company pretty much from the very beginning, and we've been developing our own ad serving solution. It went great. We have been on the market for about 7 years now, and we currently have over 300 clients, and we're serving over 150 billion impressions on a monthly basis. But that thing is, that is all related to regular ad units, desktop and video, mobile web, native, whatever, right? But there was one thing that we were missing. That thing was white label DSP. So our cool guys in the development team have developed it. We've rolled it out, and now it's available for everybody to just take and use. So again, we have some returning customers of Epom. We have some newcomers that want to build their own network. So for the guys that want to build their own network, I'm going to dive a bit deeper into what a DSP is and why it is super important to have this. Now, previously, if you were to build a network, you would work with publishers very directly, and this was not always a good case. You would either hunt those publishers, or you would come to a network that has these publishers united, and you would give them the tag. After that, you would start buying traffic from those networks, and it wouldn't matter how good was this traffic. You had pretty much no way of knowing the quality of this traffic and whether you need it before you buy it. So essentially how it went is you're buying traffic, you're analyzing it, and then you make some adjustments. But the money is already spent. Now, that didn't sit right, and a new RTB format was created. The beauty of the DSP is that it allows you to spend only the money for the traffic that you need. You're not buying traffic that you don't need. You're not buying traffic that's irrelevant to your advertisers, and you're only getting, the best things that you want or that are in line with what your advertisers want. Now, that is specifically a system that we've built, and to show you how it looks like, let me share my screen, and hopefully you can see it right now. So over here you can see the dashboard. I already logged into the account, and this is the dashboard. Essentially a fast analytics tab. Over here you can see the amount of impressions, amount of eCPM, how much your effective CPM is, and how much money you've spent. And you can also build different graphs with eCPMs or spend. Also, there's a calendar where you can choose the period of dates that you want to analyze. And of course, you can view more stats, which would essentially take you to the analytics tab. I'll talk about that in a minute. How it works is that, first of all, you would have to find some SSPs that you want to connect to. The SSPs are agglomerates of publishers. They have tons of publishers, and they're able to work with you on a real-time bidding basis. So to do that, you would just come to any SSP that you know of, like, I don't know, Smato, Rubicon, PubMatic, PulsePoint, you name it, and you give them the URL, the link to which they would send traffic. Now, one of the key features of Epom's white label DSP is that we do not intervene and we do not interfere. So you can talk to any SSP in the world, you can give them the link, and you would work with them on your own contracts, on your own terms. Let's say that you've already contacted some SSPs and they're waiting for you to give them the link to which they would send traffic. So what you would have to do is you would go to admin, you would go to SSP endpoint manager, and over here is exactly the place where you add those SSPs. The reason why you can have several endpoints for one SSP is For example, you're working with Smato and you want to segment their traffic that they're sending your way to premium and to remnant. So for that, you can use two different endpoints. You would create one endpoint saying that it's okay, this endpoint is named premium Smato, this one is named remnant Smato, and then you would give two different endpoints to Smato, telling them which traffic to send to which endpoint. Creating endpoint is super easy. All you have to do is click this big button over here, give it a name of any sort, doesn't really matter how you name it, just for you to understand it better afterwards. Enable it or disable it, and choose an SSP from this list over here. Once you log in for the first time, you're not going to see anything here, but once you add new SSPs, all the SSPs that you add would appear over here. So you just choose the SSP that you want to connect to and click Save. That's literally all it takes. And this is the endpoint that we've created, and this is the endpoint URL that you would give to Smato for them to start sending you traffic. Super simple. Of course, there are some financial relationships and some terms that you have to discuss with them personally, but it's up to you. Again, Epom provides a service, and we have no interest in what you're doing with those guys. We just provide you the best platform you can find for your money. So once you have an SSP enabled, we would go to campaigns because, okay, we have a source of traffic, say that Smato is already sending in traffic, but you have to buy it, right? So for that, you would have to create a campaign. Campaign is super easy to create, so all you have to do is, again, click this Create New Campaign big button over here, and you're taken to the campaign creation toolkit. Over here, you can, let's make it a new campaign. You give it a name. You decide when you want this campaign to start and when you want this campaign to end, which we call flight dates, and limits, lifetime limits, right? Like how much money, if we're talking about spend, and how many impressions can this campaign buy over the course of its lifetime. You also have the ability to do daily limitations on the impressions on the spend, and there's also, of course, a mandatory option of putting a price, like how much are you willing to pay for the impressions that are coming your way to this specific campaign that we're creating right now. So let's put 10 cents. Frequency cap is pretty much self-explanatory. I mean, if you do it like this, for example, it means that a unique user will see an ad from this campaign only once per 24 hours. So if he sees it, then for 24 hours, he's guaranteed to not see any ads from this campaign again. Filters, I will stop on them a bit later on. We have a separate field over here. Bidding strategy, normal means spend as fast as you can. Like, you're buying everything and you're buying as fluidly and as fast as you can. Balanced is something a bit different. To enable it, you must have either max impressions or max spend and certain dates. And what it would do, it would spread out evenly the spend of this campaign. Let's say for a week, if you have flight dates for a week, and you have a certain spend that you want to put out, then it's going to spread everything out evenly. Targeting options relate to the type of traffic that you want to receive from the SSPs. And again, here's another thing. The SSPs have different ways of sending information your way. Like some SSPs send categories, some don't. Some send detailed information about the user, some don't. So please keep in mind what I just said when you're making some adjustments over here. So category is the type of traffic that you want to receive. We have all, of course, standard IAB supported categories that you can either allow or block incoming to this campaign, which means that essentially if you allow certain categories, then only the SSPs that are able to pass these categories would be able to give you traffic. Same with language. This is the user's language, and we have a big list of them, and you can, of course, you can add several of them if you want to, and you can make mixed rules inside of that as well. So operating system, include or exclude, here are the most popular ones, and the browsers, same thing. So this, again, this is related to the traffic that is coming your way in order for you to buy the relevant traffic. If you have a need to target some very specific browsers or operating systems, like for example Debian, you can use user agent for that. You would have to type it in over here, and again, once user agent is passed, you can target by whatever you've written over here. This field is probably the most important one because this would allow you to decide from which SSPs you're going to buy traffic for this campaign. These are the 4 endpoints, maybe 4 SSPs, maybe one SSP with 4 different endpoints, but I hope you get the idea. And over here, you're adding to the list from which SSPs or from which endpoints you're buying traffic for this campaign and from which you're not. So this is a way of just, targeting SSPs for the campaign level. And of course, geo-position targeting, which allows you to target, for example, country level, region level, which is of course state level in the US, and even up to city level if you want to. It has to be New York City. Yeah, there it is. So, and you can of course again include or exclude, and you can do multiple at the same time. Now, once we've created this campaign, let's say that we've given it a name, we have the bid price enabled, we have potentially chosen some SSPs, then you save this campaign, and of course it gives you a notification that campaign has been created successfully, and you're being sent to new creative, right? So once you have a campaign, you have to add a banner, essentially the thing that would be shown up on the SSP level for the users on the traffic that you're buying from. So creative is a banner in a way. Let's do new banner. Let's decide where we want to run it, on desktop, phone, or tablet, or everything at the same time. You can override the bid price of the campaign on the creative level. That's an option. So if you have some creatives that you want to promote heavily, feel free to put in a different price over here and it would work. The same with frequency capping, right? So this does not override the campaign, but it also gives you the ability to set different frequency capping for different creatives if you want to. Ad markup is essentially a banner itself. So for the size, you would pick either some standard IAB banner sizes, or you can issue your own custom sizes by, putting in the width and height of in pixels. Ad markup is right now available only for tags, meaning that any ad network that would give you the tags, be it JavaScript or iframe or any sort of tag, would be put in over here. Let me just type code to not leave this empty. The ability to upload local files will be on production, hopefully closer to the end of this year, so that you can upload your own files and work with them as you would with a regular ad server. There's also a very handy thing called macros list, which would give you a list of all dynamic macros that you can use, and by hovering over with your mouse, it would show you what each macro is, and by clicking it, it gets sent over here, immediately. So super helpful. Landing page is where the user would be led to, whenever a banner appears, once he clicks on the banner. Plus, this information is in most times required by the SSPs, meaning that you would have to put in the landing page so that they would know where the user would be led before showing that information to them. So let's choose Epom. Yeah. The creative category is something else. This is also something that the SSPs sometimes require. They want to understand what you will show, what category of an ad you will show before actually serving this ad. So if you want to make sure, if you talk to the SSP and they state their wish to have that information, you can do it from the creative level by choosing an appropriate creative category. Again, this is the category of the banner that you're going to be showing. And over here are the banner level targeting for the traffic. So where you want this banner to show up. Do you want it to show up above the fold, meaning on a visible area of the screen, below the fold, which means the user has to scroll down a bit, in a header, in a footer, in a sidebar, full screen. Again, this is something that you're looking for, and if an SSP has the ability to pass that information, then you can essentially buy the correct fold position. Same with connection type, and same with category. This category is for traffic incoming. So you decide where you want to run, what type of traffic you want to buy. Interstitial are used mostly to serve pops. There is, as of now, no unified decision onto how to pass the inventory, the supply for pops. So some of the SSPs pass it as an interstitial. If you talk to them, it'll let you know that, okay, we are passing pops as an interstitial, and you want to buy it for, you want to show this creative as an interstitial, you just turn it on. That's it. Like, super easy. You save it. Oh, I forgot to fill in. Yeah, I forgot to fill in the width and height. Let's just choose leaderboard, and that would work. So the creative has been created successfully. It has a name. It has a status that you can pause. It has a size, bid, amount that you want to. This is taken from the campaign level, as you may remember. And there are actions over here that you can use. You can duplicate if you want to change just some minor things in the creative. You can edit it, and you can archive it, which means that it's essentially getting deleted. So yeah, you have a campaign, you have a creative. This is the campaign that we've created. Of course, within the campaign, you can also do the same things. You can pause the campaign, duplicate, edit, or archive it. And that's pretty much it on how to set everything up. I mean, again, it's super easy, it's super simple. But one more thing I wanted to stop on was filters. Remember when on the campaign level I talked about how to edit, and I said there's filters that I'm going to stop on later on? Now's the time. So if you go to the filters, think of filters as essentially of a whitelist or a blacklist. Now, we have already created one list, and inside this list, we have already something targeted. Now, how it works is, within the test list, you can target specific domain URLs, site or app IDs, publisher IDs, app names, device IDs, user IPs, or bundle IDs. If you have an external tracking platform, and if an SSP is passing all these information, they very well may, and you're able to track them, you can use this filter list in order to create a whitelist, for example, of the domain URLs, the domains that bring you the most possible money, and you want to buy only from those domains. You just add them up, you save this filter, save this list, and then apply that filter. And everything's going to be awesome because you're able to enable the whitelist or blacklist with one click of a button. I was talking about analytics previously, and here it is. I mean, on the dashboard, it's a fast analytics tab. Analytics itself gives you a bit more information in regards to broken down by site or apps. You can see the URLs, you can see the app names over here, and by campaigns as well. This is the campaign, the unique identifier of the campaign, how many impressions it bought, what was the eCPM, and how much money you spent. But this is all in regards to impressions. So in regards to everything that you actually bought. There is one cool feature called media planning, which allows you to understand the requests. So even if you're not buying, even if the targeting is off, if you don't need those requests, we're still tracking them to give the ability to understand what is going on with your SSPs. So over here you can see the list of all of the SSPs for a certain time period, how many requests they had, broken down by countries, what was going on, what were the placement types of the categories, the placement sizes. This is crucial because let's say that you have a new customer coming in, a new advertiser from Israel. This gives you the option to immediately state what would the estimated or the expected request rate for a certain country from a certain SSP be. So if you want to do even more cool stuff, you can just click this button to get report, and you're going to have everything in details broken down by websites, applications, and the coolest thing is that you can add these to filters, to those whitelists and blacklists, just by using this click of a button. So for example, you're running this report based on requests. You're taking a look and seeing that, okay, this one's awesome. This one has this one, Dune, right? It has 0.18 click-through rate. So with one click of a button, you can add this to a filter of whitelist, and it would be then automatically applied to all the campaigns that you have. So super easy to manage everything, super easy to make sure that everything is correct. Another thing that I wanted to stop on would be users management. So being a white label DSP, you can of course white label everything, which means that you can change the URL where the users and you of course log in. You can change the logos, you can change all the colors. The endpoints that you give out to SSPs would also be unique to you. It may contain your domain, but the biggest reason to do this would be if you want to give out access to your advertisers. And this is another option that we have. I'm currently an admin account. From over here, you can see this, but there's a tab called users, and there are several ways to create them. They can be either created automatically from their own, from the login panel, or you can create new users manually. Now, what it does is it gives the advertisers the ability to do something themselves. You're essentially giving out a self-serve advertiser account, which looks very similar to this, but it doesn't, of course, have admin, and the campaigns are only unique to this user. Analytics are unique to this user, so that that user does not see anything else that is inside your account. Plus, you can manage the user from this tab. You can log in as that user, take a look at the test, take a look at the setup. You can send an email if you want to notify that user of something. Balance, amount, campaigns, creatives created, total spend, and less login. Also, there's an option to add a daily limit to this advertiser. Now, this could be important if you're working on net terms. I mean, if you trust the user, if you've known this advertiser like for 5 years, which I know most of you do, you would, choose prepay model. If you don't really know this user, if that user comes and says, I want to spend $19 billion with you today, and I really need to, then you would probably be better working on, the other way around, you would probably be working on prepay. But if a user is, somebody that you care about, you can work with that user on net terms, and not to go overboard, just a safety precaution, put a daily limit that that user cannot go over, so that you would not overspend and get left in a bad situation. Status for the advertiser could be new, active, disabled, deleted, and there are also some things over here that I wanted to stop on. Auto approve is this. Me as an admin, I will get a notification that is accessible from this icon over here. I can see what was the name of the advertiser of the user, what was the campaign name created, what is the creative name. I can preview the creative, preview the tag. This is the one that we've just played around a couple of seconds ago. I can even go through to the landing page to see what the landing page is. And you can also enable GeoEdge, meaning that all the tags that are uploaded to the platform can be scanned with GeoEdge, and it will show the status over here. And of course, you can approve or disapprove of this banner to start working. Now, if that GeoEdge thing, if that actually marked, or if that found something malicious, something fraudulent in a creative, that user would be automatically marked as fraud, and that user would appear red on the users tab, so that you would know that. And of course, send daily reports. Daily reports for this user, unique to this user, could be sent automatically to the email that you've specified over here. So that's essentially what is possible when you're working with users. It's a very handy thing if you have tons of advertisers. I mean, imagine this, how the workflow would be in a perfect world. You would come to the SSPs, you would make an intro of yourself, you would sign a contract, sign an IO with them, you would give them the endpoint, taking the endpoint from the SSP endpoint manager. You would have a list of different SSPs. Then you would go hunting for the advertisers, and those advertisers would come into you, have their own account, and do everything for you. You would be only overseeing everything and make some adjustments, maybe have some tools, have some tips for the advertisers, what to change to ensure that they're getting the best possible traffic and you're getting the most possible margin. So this is the beauty of the DSP. Everything is super simple. You're buying only relevant traffic. You're not paying a dime. You're not paying a cent over for the traffic that you really don't need, that is useless, essentially. You have full control over it, you have full transparency over it, and the best thing is that it's by far the most accessible DSP on the market. So when it comes to the pricing, of course, I've mentioned that you're going to have a 50% off for the nearest 6 months. I was referring to a minimum commitment that we have, which is usually $1,000 per month. You would have it $500 per month, but the biggest thing is that you will be paying us only 5% of what you spend. I know that some of you that are working already with SSPs, you're used to 13%, 10%, 8%, and you're paying every single SSP separately. And you don't have a unified perhaps you don't have a unified solution where you can do everything from the same place for only 5% rev share. And not only is 5% is, I know that probably some companies on the market do offer the same rates, but we also offer incredible scalability, which means that this offer comes with the infrastructure that is ready to support up to 15 billion requests on a monthly basis. That is huge. Usually you're getting only like, I don't know, up to a billion requests per month possible. And since the SSPs usually send a lot of traffic your way that really don't care about, what traffic to send, they only care if you buy it or not. So sometimes this limitation could come, very important. And Epom gives you the ability to have up to 15 billion requests per month for 5% of a net spend. So I think that, you would probably agree that this is probably the best deal of your life. And in order to have, if you have so many new questions, if you have some more questions, if you want to contact me in person, please do feel free to send me an email, add me on Skype. It will be in the description for this video. It will be sent alongside your emails. So I'm ready to answer any questions that you can throw at me, and hopefully you can find the DSP of your dreams with Epom White-Label DSP. Thanks guys, it was a pleasure, and